Hi everyone and welcome to another video at Lifeasamedstudent. My name's Nabeel and I'm a final year medical student studying in the UK. In today's video I'm going to be talking about the system that I've been using to stay on top of everything that med school has thrown my way over the years. Now if you watched my video on the basics of how to be more organised, you'll know that I recommend that you keep all your study material in an electronic format because that makes everything more accessible and convenient than trying to keep track of loose sheets of paper and trying to find the right page in a 200-page notepad. With that convenience though, there's the potential for another problem. You see, as the years go by, those files, PDFs, images, they can start to build up and totally clutter your documents and downloads folders. So you're going to want to come up with some kind of organising system that works for you to help you make sure all those files remain easily accessible as and when you need them, months and years after you first created the file. So first, a piece of advice. There's no need to go looking for that perfect organising system if such a thing even exists. I'm not convinced that it does. You just want to find something that's logical in your head. And the good thing about keeping everything electronic is that you can easily adapt your system with time, which your workload or course might require of you as new themes might come up with each passing year. And secondly, create your organising system at the start. Don't go looking through your files and think, right, now how can I sort them? Just picture in your head, where do I want to be able to find all of my files? And then as you go along, you can sort all of your study material into the system that you've already designed. So I'll take you through the system that I used, and for some of you it might look good, or at the very least hopefully it can give you some inspiration for how you might want to go about designing your own organising system. So I keep this main folder, I've just called it Uni, and I've put it on the left here just for the purposes of this video. But if I go onto it, you can see here it's a pretty neat, well, it looks pretty neat to me. It's just a nice simplest way of breaking everything down year by year. And actually at one point, just having folders like these was enough for me. So in first year, whatever lecture slide or PDF or handout it was that I found useful, I'd just put them all into the folder first year and just leave it at that. But with a bit of time, actually what happened is, yes, the folder got a bit cluttered, a bit disorganized. So I think it was over Easter time, I looked at creating a slightly more thorough system for organising all of the files that I was creating. So we go on the folder first year, then it's a case of anticipating what to expect over the year. So in first year I wasn't too clued up on exactly what to expect, so I just made folders for every heading that came up on our online university portal. And when I look at it, I think about what I said earlier about an electronic system being more adaptable, because there are folders on here that didn't exist at the start, but as the year went on I realised that these were quite significant parts of the testable exam content, so I created some new folders. It's been a while since I've actually opened up this first year folder. Just being reminded of that Hoque folder. That was our anatomy module, and I just get flashbacks of trying to remember like how to visualize things like the celiac trunk when I've reopened this folder. If I was to think back about which of these folders are actually used the most, and this goes for every single year really, it was always the past papers folders. And like with anything, you can choose just how far you want to go with the organising system. Do you want to actually break down the past papers into the question paper and the answer papers in separate folders, or do you just want to put them all in one folder mixed together and properly titled? It's up to you. In later years I adapted the system to make it simpler with fewer main folders on that initial part. Most of my files are actually just question-based resources. Not everything that came up on the course went onto my laptop or onto these folders. It was just the things that I had identified as high yield that I would actually sort and keep a hold of. I already mentioned, but I'll say it again, the system doesn't have to be perfect, it just needs to be logical and it needs to work for you. You might recognise that there are some overlap with some of these things. So for example, CBLs or case-based learning, these are sessions that included topics like cardio, respiratory, GI. So there's the question, do I put them in the cardio, respiratory and GI sections, or do I just create a folder and put all the CBLs into that folder, or should I do both? Basically, it doesn't matter. No one way is better than the other, and it's just about what works for you. So long as you remember where it is that you've decided to keep your CBLs, that's fine. When this becomes helpful is that when you are studying, it reduces the amount of time that you spend preparing, and it actually maximizes the amount of time that you're going to spend doing your actual studying. So whenever I need to find a file, what I'll do is I'll just do a spotlight search of, I'll either know the file name or I'll know what folder it belongs in. I don't know if this is the best system, but I do know it's helped me to never lose track of any file that it is that I've been looking for, and it saved me from doing that thing where, you know, I'll be scrolling for ages or scrolling through my emails if it's like a document that was actually sent as an attachment. And so many times in school and in the start of university as well, there'll be times where I'm sitting down, where I'll have sat down to do some studying, and in the back of my mind I'll have a vague memory of, I know I've seen the perfect PowerPoint or I've had the perfect document that had, you know, the background material for what it is that I'm about to study, and I'll end up spending 5-10 minutes, however long it might be, trying to track down exactly where it was that that file was, with, you know, after spending it wasn't even very long, it might have been between 5 and 10 minutes to actually create all of these folders and to create my organising system. It's just made everything so much easier since that day to be able to just put everything onto the folders, and again, it means you don't need to think about that stuff anymore. And like I say, whenever it comes to the time where you come to plan a study session, it always quickens that process of gathering my resources for the session. So that's pretty much it for this video. I do hope you found it helpful, or at least found some inspiration from it of how you might go about designing your own organising system. If you did enjoy the video, please do drop a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.